Ladies, we have to get to the bag. The bag. Do y'all want the bag? Let's get to the bag. What are y'all talking about? Let's get to the bag. Come on, ladies, we're gonna go get to the bag.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I have been having people say that they have been applying to remote jobs for months and they have either been getting automatic rejection letters or that they have been applying and hearing nothing back. So today I am going to provide you guys with a resume that's going to be specifically for this role. It's going to help trigger the ATS and greatly increase your chances of getting an interview, okay? So to start off, if you guys have ever seen any of my other videos and you guys are interested in a role that I have posted about previously, go ahead and put that down in the comments and I probably will end up making another video on how to craft a resume to trigger the ATS for that. Now, let's kind of break this down because a lot of people don't know what an ATS system is. So, in-person jobs and remote jobs are very different, right? In-person jobs have smaller candidate pools, meaning if there is a job for, say, someone living in Sacramento, California, and there is a job at Jamba Juice, right? You're probably only going to end up getting 50, maybe 75, sometimes 100 resumes for that customer service role at Jamba Juice. However, when it comes to remote jobs, because it is usually open to all 50 states, there are thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people applying for the same role, meaning they have to figure out a smart way to weed out these candidates, which would be the ATS system. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how that would look, right? So if I hit Command F on my computer and the word customer is in there, do you guys see how many times that pops up as a match? That is what the ATS does. There are certain trigger words for certain positions that the more you use it, the higher you are ranked, the more it increases your chances of getting an interview, okay? So that is exactly how the ATS works. Now, for a simple job posting, the ATS system typically has between 50 to 120 words that are keys to triggering it, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how I would write a resume for this role. Now, do keep in mind, guys, that this is not a universal resume, meaning the resume that I'm writing for you guys right now, you cannot use this for other roles to trigger the ATS. It's not going to work like that. I'm specifically using these keywords, all that I see right here, to craft a resume. Now, there are ways to create universal resumes, but we're not doing that today. I'm specifically focusing on this role, okay? This is for Swing Education, and this is for their Senior Escalations Associate. Now for this role, it does pay up to $32.76 an hour. Now, they go on to talk a little bit about Swing Education, and this is really how you craft a resume. When you guys are even making universal resumes, right, you need to read between 20 to 30 relevant job postings, okay? You cannot just look at one and craft a perfect resume. You have to look between 20 to 30 resumes and start cross-examining information that you notice that is consistently popping up. So let's just go through this, right? It says Swing Education is an online staffing marketplace that connects substitute teachers with schools. So it's already letting you know that the main objective of this company is to make people's lives easier, more convenient, okay? Now, it says it was also founded in 2015 by former K-12 educators / administrators, okay? Here's the word easier right there. I've already said it, right? Swing makes it easier for schools and districts to find reliable, qualified substitute teachers, okay? Let's get down to the position summary. And I'm taking notes, right? So this is all for the Senior Escalations Associate. This is going to be for their customer experience department. Now, what is this role about? You guys have to read through this to understand how to write the resume. It says that Swing seeks to empower our users by providing feedback, guidance, and expertise when our schools and subs need us. As an escalation associate, you will be responsible for supporting the response and resolution process for schools and substitute teacher escalations right there. You're going to be responsible for supporting the response and resolution process, okay? So you are all about problem solving. Additionally, the responsibilities include providing world-class customer support, keyword, identifying customer pain points, again, a problem solver, resolving concerns, again, another problem solver, and conducting training as needed for new/onboarding team members. So you're going to use words like team leader and things like that, right? So we already know what this job is about. Going down here, let's look a little bit more at the essential duties and responsibilities. They say that you support our escalation manager by assisting with the review and preparation of high-level cases, escalating tickets as necessary to our escalation manager. So all this is saying right here is you need to be able to collaborate, work with other people. This is literally why they have the word right here, right? You're going to collaborate with both legal and human resource teams as necessary. Collaboration just means that you understand how to work with other people. They said they want you to provide high quality, efficient, and helpful correspondence, okay? Now let's get down here to the requirements and qualifications. So they say a bachelor's degree is preferred, but it's not required. If you have 4 years working in escalations, that's going to be perfect. Or you could have experience working in case management. This is kind of the same thing, whether it's escalations or case management. It is very similar. Of course, they want you to have exceptional written and verbal communication skills because you're going to be collaborating with people. You're going to be referring these tickets to someone higher up. You need to be empathetic. Of course you do, because these people are going through an issue where they have to have this problem be handled by a higher up instead of a regular customer service representative, meaning they could be a little bit frustrated. So you need to be empathetic. You need to understand their pain points and things like that. Of course, you need to be organized, detail orientated, okay? So now that I'm kind of getting a gist of this, I have been writing resumes for over 5 years, so I already know exactly what I want to put on this resume. Let's get right into it. Okay, so now here we are on to the resume layout. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on this. When you are starting off, of course, your name is going to go up here, your contact information. Now, what would go here in this line could be subjective, right? So in there, you also saw them use the keywords case management numerous times. So you could either use the word case management professional, but instead I'm going to use customer I'm going to use customer experience professional. Okay. So this is where your name would go. For this role, you could either use case management professional or customer experience professional. Okay. Now, here you put your number, your email. If you have a LinkedIn, you can link that right here, and your city and state. I see too many people put their full address. Guys, your full address is not needed on here. All you need is your city and state. So I'm going to put right here, oopsie. Okay. So that's exactly how you would want to write it out, okay? Now, let's get started on the actual resume summary. I feel like that's going to be smooth, okay? Now, I know everybody has very different work experience. So for this, I'm going to do something that's quite common, and I'm going to base this resume off of a cashier working at Walmart, okay? So remember, the resume summary needs to be as close as you can make it to the position summary. Now, the first sentence in your resume summary should match your current position or your most recent position, right? So we said that we are going off of a Walmart cashier. Words like experienced, skilled, these are going to be great to lead off with, right? So we're going to put experience, cashier at Walmart with proven track record of providing exceptional customer service. So, okay. The reason why we are going to put this straight like this is because, one, you want to bring up your most recent or current position, but you also want it to match what the job is all about. This is an escalations job, meaning you need to have great customer service. The way you end up becoming an escalations manager is because you started off as a customer service rep and you handled people so well, they thought, we should move you up to a higher position where bigger problems come up, because you have such a great way with words. When bigger problems come up, you can handle those customers, okay? So that is what your first sentence is going to be about. It's always going to be about the role you have and how it's going to actually truly connect with the job you want, okay? Now, after that, you should talk about what you want to do. So this is going to be a role. Remember, this is an escalation senior associate. So you're going to say something like seeking a position as a escalations senior associate. And after you put down what role you are going to be seeking, you then need to go into the actual skills that you can have and how it can benefit them, right? So seeking a position as an escalation senior associate, where I can leverage my skills in customer support. Remember, this is all about problem solving. People are coming to you with their issues. So, problem solving, customer support, problem solving, and remember, this is a phone job, and communication. Perfect. And now we need to tie that into, again, the role. Remember, this is all about providing exceptional customer service support. So you're seeking this role, you're talking about your skills, and now we need to talk about how that's going to tie back in. So to support the response and resolution. Of course, always about the resolution. Process for, and remember, this is about substitute teachers in school. So process for schools and substitute teacher escalations. Okay. So remember, perfect. Okay. Now, a resume summary should be about 5 sentences. So we're about 2 sentences in. So remember, the first sentence should talk about what role you're in, or most current role, recent role, and the most important skill. Then you should go into how you want to actually transition into whatever role you're applying for, and list some more skills and how it will directly apply to the job. So we're going to list about 3 more, right? Let's go. Remember, they said they want you to be able to identify issues. They did say that. They said they want you to identify. So adept at identifying customer pain points resolving concerns and conducting they did say they want you to train onboarding new members. So you're also going to be conducting training for new team members. Okay. Let's get into a third skill. You are also going to be, they said you need to be organized, right? So, highly organized and detail orientated, yeah, with a strong ability to stream. And guys, I know I'm sitting over here just like thinking, but I'm literally writing this in real time with you guys. This is how I write resumes. I'm actually typically I don't even have to really read through the job summaries because I've been writing resumes for like 5 years now. So whether it's a customer service job, a data entry job, I don't even have to read it. I already know the key points that they're going to be talking about. So crafting resumes are super easy for me. But because I want to specifically match it to this job in all the keywords, it's taking me a slight moment. Remember, we're talking about the substitute teacher, so we're going to keep using that word. Because we are connecting our skills. We are connecting our skills to, actually, no, I'm going to take that back. How about this? Because when you are working as a customer service rep, specifically for an escalations position, even though you are working for the company, you always want to give off the impression that you are on the customer side. So that's why I included the word unbiased. And they also, especially when it comes to customer service, when people are having an issue, they don't want to wait days. They don't want to wait hours. They want a resolution now. However, that doesn't always happen. You want to include things like timely decisions, right? Letting them know that you value the customer's time the same way they do. So, and now we're going to do one more skill. Let's go. We're committed to okay. Perfect. Okay. So this is what I would write down. There's an M missing from right there. Okay. So let's go through this. Remember, the first sentence out of your resume summary should be about where you currently are in your professional life. Then it should go on to how you really want to transition into whatever job they are seeking and the skills you have. And then you should go on to list or go in depth with at least 3 more sentences of how your skills relate to this job. So let's read this out loud. You're an experienced cashier at Walmart with a proven track record of providing exceptional customer service, seeking a position as an escalation senior associate where I can leverage my skills in customer support, problem solving, and communication to support the response and resolution process for schools and substitute teacher escalations, adept at identifying customer pain points, resolving concerns, and conducting training for new team members. Highly organized and detail-oriented with a strong ability to streamline internal processes and make unbiased and timely decisions. Committed to maintaining positive and professional relationships with customers and colleagues, right? Because remember, you're not just going to be speaking to customers, you are going to be collaborating with other team members. They mentioned that, okay? Now I want to talk to you guys about something. If this is what your resume skills look like, you are doing it wrong, okay? Let's see. No. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of stuff off the top of my head, right? But if your skill section looks like this, it's wrong. And the reason why I say it's wrong is because when you look at majority of job postings, what they want from you, when they are explaining what they want from you and the skills they want, it does not look like this. It does not look like 1 to 2 word skills. They are drawn out skills. For example, here we are back at the requirements and qualifications. Do you see how none of these look like 1 to 2 words? And when they say experience with case management, that's not a skill. They are telling you the requirements. I'm talking about being highly empathetic. Take time to understand customer pain points, needs, and wants. There are no singular words, right? You need to draw out your skills more in depth the same way they do it on here. So we're going to get back into this resume. If you guys would like my help on writing a custom resume / cover letter to trigger the ATS system for whatever jobs you want, a universal resume, you can find this link located in my bio. Okay, guys, so where did it go? Okay, so one of the first things they talk about is you kind of being a liaison between the customer and their complaint and the actual escalation manager, right? So because you are going to be the middleman, you are going to need excellent communication skills. But you need to tell the ATS, you need to trigger it more. How is this actually applying to the job? It's great you have exceptional written and verbal communication skills, but how does this actually apply to the job? Well, you can have the ability to Okay. So remember, you guys are going to be a liaison. You are the middleman between the customer and their complaint and the manager. Now, when you are actually playing that role, you need to effectively communicate. Why? Because everything that you are going to be taking notes on from the customer in all of their discrepancies, you need to be able to convey that to the actual escalation manager. So for this, I put down exceptional written and verbal communication skills. You have the ability to effectively communicate with customers and colleagues, ensuring that messages are clear, concise, and professional. Okay. You are going to be collaborating. So it is very important that your notes, that your emails, and that any phone calls you have with your colleagues catches them up on what they need to know. Typically, when people are upset and they have an issue, they do not want to repeat themselves 13 different times. So you need to be able to properly convey how they feel to the manager so they're all caught up. Not only that, because when people are upset, they tend to get a little bit irrational. Not all, but some do. And for a customer, when they are upset, the best thing you can do is to have empathy for them, to be on their side, to understand how they feel, to make them feel like you are going to resolve their problems. And the way you do that is being highly empathetic and customer focused. Customer focused means your main goal is making sure that the customer leaves satisfied, okay? So I would write that down like skilled in okay. So for this, right? When you expand on this, what does that mean? So I wrote down that you are skilled in diffusing difficult situations and resolving conflicts with empathy and professionalism. Now, the reason why you want to talk about you being able to diffuse the situation is because you are the middleman. Remember, if you can diffuse the situation before you actually have to refer it up to the escalation manager, you want to try that to the best of your ability. So that's going to be an important skill, that you are also able to diffuse difficult situations. You don't just need the manager to do it. You have that skill set too. Along with this, right? These are substitute teachers and they are coming onto this platform to find work, meaning you want to keep the relationships strong. You want to make sure that you have a rapport, that they're not leaving the company with a sour taste in their mouth and that they no longer want to work with you, right? So relationship building is a key, especially when it comes to resolving conflicts, okay? You want to make it seem as though you are fully there for the customer and you want to help them to the best of your ability. And you're not going to give up until you make sure that their problems are solved. So, ability to, how about this? Because remember, at the end of the day, when you are helping these people solve their problems, you're not only helping them solve their problems, but these are actually customers. Swing Education is making money off of these substitute teachers partnering with them. They get a fee for helping them find jobs, right? So you want to make sure that at the end of this, that they are still pleased with the company, that they are still loyal, that they still want to remain a partner with you. So when I said relationship building, it says the ability to establish rapport and trust with customers, ensuring their loyalty and satisfaction. That is going to be extremely important in this role. Another extremely important skill that they did mention, because they say that it's going to be fast paced, right? Well, because it's going to be fast paced, you want to be hyper organized and detail orientated. Now, the way I would expand on this and make this seem as though you are all about the details, you kind of almost want to pull a skill set how you would from like data entry, right? So, strong Guys, do not laugh at my typos, but okay. So for hyper organized and detail orientated, you're going to say that your strong organizational skills. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. Yes, okay. So actually it does make sense. So you're going to say that you have strong organizational skills, ensuring all cases, details are accurately documented and accessible. So remember, you are the middleman. So if you're not able to diffuse the situation, those notes are going to be used by another higher up. And you want to make sure that all those notes are accurate in there and that the customer is not going to have to continually revoice their pain points. Another really good skill we want to put down here is good judgment and confidentiality. So even though we're not dealing with anything like HIPAA laws, you want to be very careful not to overindulge certain information, right? So it says good judgment and confidentiality. I would put down that you are skilled in making sound decisions based. Okay. Okay. So, oopsie. That is not spelled right. Where is... Okay. So, for this right here, you're going to put down that you're skilled in making sound decisions based on careful analysis and evaluation of available information. So, you guys don't want to just make it a shot in the dark when you are making these judgment calls. You want to make sure that you are carefully looking over the details, that you are following company procedures, that you are properly looking over every bit of information that is accessible to you, and you are making the best decision that you can for the customer and for the company. So that's going to be a very important skill to put on there. We've consistently talked about problem solving. So we're just going to put this up here too. We're going to put skilled problem solver. Let's keep it simple. And we're going to say that you're proficient in and the reason why we want to continue to use complex problems is because it tricks the ATS into thinking that you have a very wide span of It tricks the ATS into thinking you have a very wide span of knowledge when it comes to problems. So it's not just that you're halted at problems, but you can work all the way up to complex problems. If we removed complex from this, it would just make it seem as though you can only solve ground-based problems. So complex is going to show that you have a range, okay? Breaking them. Okay. So for skilled problem solver, we're going to put down that you're proficient in analyzing complex problems, breaking them down into manageable components, and implementing effective resolutions. When you guys are solving problems, it's like a puzzle. So you have to move piece by piece. Nobody just throws a puzzle together all at once, right? So you're breaking it down piece by piece. Maybe you start off with the edges, or maybe you start off in the middle, you build out, or you start off with the edges and you build in, right? So you are breaking it down into manageable components and implementing effective resolutions. Now, effective is going to be a very key, important word in here, okay? Don't just put down implementing resolutions, effective resolutions, meaning that you are fully solving the problem. Now, we've already talked about collaboration, so we're also going to put this one down. It is important to put this one down because remember, you are the middleman. They've already said that if you cannot solve the problem, you will have to collaborate with other people, other teams. Fostering, okay. So, actually, yeah, okay. So for this, right, we put down collaboration with a variety of teams. They have already said that you're not just going to be working with the escalation manager, but you may have to work with other departments. So it says that you have the ability to work effectively. Guys, remember, effectively, efficiently, those are going to be great words to include. Do not leave them out. And collaboratively with diverse teams, fostering a positive and productive work environment. They also said that one of the things you want to have as far as requirements is experience with case management. That could also be working on an escalation team. But because they specifically use the word case management, if you guys have experience with case management, I'm going to show you how I would write it. So you demonstrate it. Anytime you talk about your skills, it does not matter if you are an expert. Just write down that you have an expertise, that you have extensive knowledge. Okay? When you don't include these words, the ATS ranks you lower than somebody who's going to say, well, hey, I'm actually an expert at this. Vice versa, you saying, well, I know how to do it, but I'm not an expert. Even if you're not an expert, just put it down. It's all about finessing the system, okay? The computer is actually very dumb. And like I said, this is not like a regular resume. You want this to be a little bit more bulky than a typical resume. Okay? So this is how I would write it down. Okay? There we go. Okay. So right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I typically recommend to put between 5 to 9 skills if you can fit them on here. I picked out the best skills that I believed would trigger the ATS the most. They used a lot of these words repetitively, especially collaboration, especially great communication skills, being empathetic, customer focused. These are all the things that they specifically said. So I'm going to stick with these. And being a problem solver is something they have reiterated multiple times. Okay. So now we are over here. And like I said, this is for a cashier at Walmart. So let's write down some of the skills that they've talked about and some of the job duties. So they've talked about that you need to be customer focused. You need to make sure that you are providing great customer service. So something that will trigger the ATS that says you have great customer service. Even if you are a cashier, you do greet and you do assist customers. And I prompt. Yeah, okay. So it says that you provide exceptional customer service, greeting and assisting customers in a prompt and friendly manner. Prompt is going to be one of those things that you guys don't want to forget because they have talked about it already. When people are upset, they do not want to wait days, hours, anything like that for their issues to be resolved, okay? So you saying that you greet customers and work with them in a prompt and friendly manner, that is going to trigger the ATS like crazy, okay? Now, let's get into how you can talk about actually dealing with issues. So say you are a cashier and someone comes up and I guess say they bought something, right, and it's spoiled. They may come back up to the register. I'm pretty sure people have came back up to the register, right? Like, hey, I just bought this. So you're going to be a point of contact. Very important for escalated customer issues. Sure. Okay. So, say if you were a cashier, right? And if you have ever worked in the returns department, this is going to be perfect for you. Even if you didn't work in the returns department, I would still put this down on your resume because it's going to trigger the ATS. If customers come up to you and they're like, hey, I have an issue, I'm pretty sure at your job you've been like, oh, well, you actually have to go over there and this is actually where you return it. And if you can't get your problem solved, then you speak to a manager, right? Okay, well, that is what this is saying, just in a very fancy way. Or if you want to tone it down a little bit, right? Like, oh, okay, well, actually, I think that's a little bit too fancy, right? You could say, how about communicate? Okay, so another way you could say this is you communicated with customers in a clear and concise manner, which is, again, exceptional written and verbal communication skills. This is what this is leading back to, right? Ensuring that they are informed about the progress and resolution of their issue. So if a customer has ever came up to your register and they were like, I have an issue, I want to speak to a manager. And you say, okay, well, what's the issue? Okay, well, I'm going to go tell the manager this. When they come over, they'll be able to help you. Give me a few minutes. That is exactly what this is saying right here, just in a fancier way, okay? So you can pick either or for it. And for job duties, I typically say if you have a lot of job experience, put 4 to 5 duties on there. If you don't have that much job duties or you don't have that much experience, you only have like 1 role you've ever had or 2, bump it up to 8. Get as much job duties on there as you can so you can trigger the ATS as much as you can. So another thing that you could put down is, I'm gonna underline that. Okay. Okay. So an example of this, I said identify trends and patterns in customer escalations and provide recommendations for process improvements. Meaning, say if when people always come in, instead of going to the department where they return stuff, they come up to you or they come up to the door greeter and they're always confused on where to go. If you say something like, well, maybe we should put up a sign, or maybe we should have somebody at the front who's asking customers what do they need today. That is essentially what that is. If you have ever contributed to the team in a way that makes things streamlined smoother, that's what you could put right there. You could also say that you provide guidance. Remember how they said they want to train? Sometimes you'll have to train new hires. Well, if you've worked at a job long enough, they have most likely put a new hire with you and been like, hey, show them the ropes, right? Okay, this is what you're going to put here for that role. Everybody, if you've worked at a job at least for a year, they have most likely asked you to show the new hire around or help them do this or that. This is what you are saying, right? Okay, so for here, you can say that you provide guidance and support to junior associates, ensuring that they have necessary tools and knowledge to handle escalated customer issues. Okay, so that is a great way to basically put on your resume that you were able to train onboarding new team members and things like that. Now, the last thing I would put on here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to go up to 5. This is going to be a great one, especially because have you guys ever called into a call center and spoke to somebody and they tell you different information, and by the time you get to a higher up, they tell you completely different information and they're like, yeah, I don't even know why they told you that, but that's not accurate? Okay. Well, that is a huge pain point for a lot of customers. And for companies, they hate when that happens too. So what you could put down to tell them that, hey, I actually know the company policies. Say that you follow company policies and procedures in handling customer escalations and maintaining confidentiality. When it comes to certain roles, you want to make sure that you are not overindulging on certain information. So this is going to be a perfect way to write this down, okay? Now, guys, this is just a small premise of it. I am pretty sure that you guys are starting to get the gist of how this works. If you have multiple roles, you would continue to tie it into the skills, right? So the first one is all about providing exceptional customer service. Well, that ties back into being highly empathetic and customer focused. You are a point of contact for escalations, ensuring that they are getting handled in a timely and appropriate manner, right? Well, that would also go back to good judgment, confidentiality, and being a skilled problem solver. Identify trends and patterns in customer escalations. That would be experience in case management. Provide guidance and support to junior associates. That's not up there. We're not going to put that down as a skill, but we included that because that is what they said in the job posting, that you may have to train onboarding new members. So we just put that in there to trigger the ATS. And following company procedures. Again, this is going to trigger the ATS because companies will put this in their job descriptions that you must be able to know the company policy, guidelines, procedures, things like that, okay? This is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys really utilize this. This job posting was opened up 4 days ago, so it is really new. Write this down on your resume, submit it, get it in. And if you guys meet the requirements for education and for experience, I promise you, you guys will definitely land an interview. If you have other job positions, you want to be able to remember, guys, just connect them back to things like this, okay? Use words like skilled, demonstrated, abilities, things like that, proficient, right? These are going to be keywords that rank you above other people because it's showing that you are an expert or that you are well versed in the job. Thank you guys for joining me today. I really hope that somebody from my channel lands this job. And again, guys, if you guys have more job postings that you guys want me to write resume templates on, put that in the comments.